runs, hit 35 home runs, just a terrific year, and it all comes to an end. And it's he said it's something that it's happened before in the past, in high school once and in college where he separated the shoulder, but this one obviously is far more serious.
The only silver lining, it means the Mets can see more of Juan Lagares and Brandon Nimmo the rest of the way. They also get their closer Jeurys Familia back tonight from a long stint on the DL with a blood clot in his shoulder. We'll probably see him in action tonight, but it's Jacob deGrom who makes the start, and it's been a great year for Jake, but not so much recently.
It hasn't. He's lost 4 of his last 5 decisions. We documented a couple of hiccups that he had in the middle of the year. He got over that. This is another one now, and a good chance for him. The Washington Nationals last night got in about 5:30 in the morning. They have their B lineup out there, A lineup that Jake should be able to control.
However, they do have Daniel Murphy in the lineup, and generally that's been a problem for the Mets ever since he left town. It's the Mets and the Nationals opening a 4-game series in our nation's capital. All the action coming your way tonight right here on SNY. Family of banks. Visit them at mynycb.com. By the State Farm agent of the game, Pat Cawley of Glendale, New York. Contact Pat at patcawley.com. And by Tri Honda, hurry to your local Tri Honda dealer for great deals on 2017 models. Be at Citi Field Friday, September 8th, Free Shirt Friday, when the Mets take on the Reds at 7:10 p.m. All fans in attendance will receive a Let's Go Mets t-shirt, courtesy of Gulf Oil. For tickets, visit Mets.com/Free Shirt Fridays. Unlimited baseball break brought to you by T-Mobile. Suspensions handed out today in the wake of the Yankees-Tigers fight. Miguel Cabrera, who started it, got the largest suspension. Gary Sanchez, who sucker punched a couple of guys at the bottom of the pile, somehow got only 4 games. And Aaron Judge, who sucker punched Cabrera, got no games. Explain that.
Can't. Sanchez should have got slaughtered.
If we have any traffic jams tonight, there shouldn't be any problem. We got plenty of bright orange. First pitch coming up. Brandon Nimmo and Juan Lagares sitting 1 and 2. They'll both be playing virtually every day now, with Michael Conforto down for the season. Gavin Cecchini gets another start at second base as Drupal Cabrera plays third, and he'll bat cleanup behind the red-hot Yoenis Cespedes.
Well, Cole's numbers have not been good, so we're going to talk about something else. He originally was drafted by the Nationals, traded for Gio Gonzalez, and then he's put in a trade again by the A's and brought him back here to the Nationals for Ian Kroll. 4th-round pick, got $2 million in his signing bonus to get him to skip University of Miami.
And your Coors Light national defense, the veteran Alejandro Diaz. A lot of injuries in his ball club in left field. Andrew Stevenson just recently called up. This is only his 6th start in right field. Daniel Murphy, I wasn't going to mention it, but there's Daniel. He's in there. He's one of the regulars that's at second base. And Lobaton, the backup catcher.
Very much a spring training type lineup for Dusty Baker. The Nationals played in Houston last night, played an 11-inning game, didn't get home until about 5 o'clock in the morning. So he's got a lot of people hurt, Dusty does, but he's also sitting out Zimmerman and Rendon and Wieters tonight. Also Howie Kendrick, who's been red hot, and basically playing 2 regulars against a Mets team that the Nationals have dominated over the last several seasons.
But I guess, again, like as Keith said, Murphy's in the lineup. Adam Lind at first base has had a nice year off the bench, playing sparingly. And Michael A. Taylor turned the year around for himself.
Brandon Nimmo leads off for New York. Nimmo came off the bench yesterday after Conforto got hurt, but his last start on Wednesday night, he was up 4 times and got on base 4 times. 10th start for Nimmo. He's ready to go. So is A.J. Cole. And Cole's first pitch of the night is a fastball in for a strike, and we're underway.
And folks, we're going to do a text poll later on in the game, and we want your opinion on the uniforms.
So what you're saying is you don't want to influence anybody before we do that text poll, because you wouldn't want to influence the vote in any kind of positive or negative way.
That's right. Wait till you see the Mets uniforms, folks.
Well, they're looking at it right now, Keith. It's
where? Oh, my monitor's down.
It's television. They can see.
My monitor's down. Oh, look at that, folks. Looks like they're working on the railroads.
It's a very bright orange, and from our perspective, which is high above Nationals Park, it looks even brighter. Up close, it doesn't look quite as stunningly bright orange. They're different.
I feel like Sergeant Schultz.
The socks, though. How about the socks? 2 different socks.
I was never a pajama pant wearer when I played. Ronnie knows that. But I think with those socks, I'd have to put the jammies on.
I mean, look at that. Every color in the rainbow is represented between those 2 socks. Players wearing patches on their sleeves, thanking the folks that helped get them to the big leagues. 2-2 to Nimmo, leading off. Lagares and Cespedes to follow. And Cole misses with the slider, and a full count.
With the minor leagues and the major leagues in 108 2/3 innings, as you see Lagares on deck. This year, Cole has 47 walks, so walks have been a big issue.
Just back from the minor leagues. His last start came against Indianapolis. That was 6 days ago. His last big league start 12 days ago against the Giants, and he pitched pretty well in that game. 3 runs in 6 innings. 3-2 to Nimmo, and he draws a leadoff walk. So Nimmo, who has shown a great propensity for getting on base, does so to start the night. Well, we're going to go to the Toyota tweet of the game very quickly. What is your opinion, now that you've looked at them for a few minutes, on the Players Weekend uniforms? Tweet us at SNYTV, hashtag SNYTweet, and let us know what you think.
And folks, don't be in a hurry. You got plenty of time to digest it, get plenty of looks. We're here for around 3.5, maybe 4 hours.
And don't let Keith's opinions influence you. Use your own opinions. Here's Juan Lagares fighting a slump right now. 1 for his last 18, and he takes a fastball for a strike. Well, on the scoreboard, they've got not the actual names of the players, but the nicknames on their backs. So if you don't know who they are, you might have no idea who they are. Good luck. I was telling you guys before, and I don't think either one of you were around for it.
Yeah.
But sometime it was either late 90s or early 2000s, the Mets tried out a uniform of the future called the Mercury Mets.
What year was this?
Had to be 99, 2000, somewhere.
really?
In there.
It was a black period for me, Gary. You know that.
So I remember Ricky Henderson was on the team, so it had to be one of those 2 years.
I don't remember that.
And they were designed to be the uniform of the future, and they were kind of different, to use a neutral modifier. And they put pictures of the players up on the big board at Shea Stadium, dressed up as science fiction characters. Ricky Henderson looked like Yoda.
See, when you first told me the Mercury Mets, all I could think about was the early Mets and the Mercury space program that I think ended in '63.
Right.
So that's when I was thinking they had the uniform.
No, that would have been the uniform of the past. This was the uniform of the future. The team of the future, the Mercury Mets.
Okay.
For when, we move to Mercury. 1-2 to Lagares, and it's fouled away.
Well.
So this is not a one-off for the Mets. This is all of baseball that's doing this entire weekend. So you've got 4 games to watch your favorite teams in these different uniforms with the nicknames on the back. There's one saving grace, though. Here's the 1-2, and Lagares takes the changeup that just misses 2-2, and that is that the helmets are not in the same color as the hats, because if they were, the pitcher might get blinded throwing the ball to the plate.
I was going to wonder if Cespedes is wearing it's green, right? The sleeve he wears.
He
the
is.
canary.
And he is. It doesn't really go with the rest of the uniform.
No, yellow does not work with orange.
2-2 from Cole to Lagares, and he takes it on the inside corner. Strike 3 call. Lagares didn't think so. That slider backed up on the inside for the first out of the night.
Good call, Gary. That was not a good slider. It was just one of those that kind of hovers on the inside corner. It's supposed to be away, and it's just an ugly slider. It might be a strike, but it's an ugly slider that usually is not called.
Nick Lentz, young umpire, calling the balls and strikes. The crew chief Bill Welke at first. Andy Fletcher and Alan Porter rounding out the crew. It's a very cool night. Weather is cool down in New York, and it has as well here in D.C. Temperature right around 70 degrees at game time. Low humidity. Little breeze blowing in. So it's much more late September-ish than late August weather. Here's Cespedes, who's just raging hot right now. And he takes a fastball for a strike. Well, those are the Mercury Mets uniforms. You see the Mercury symbol on the hat.
Whose idea was that?
So Edgardo Alfonso and Ray Ordonez.
I do have to say that maybe lucky we weren't doing the games then.
See, my point to you about the Mercury Mets uniforms is it can always be worse.
Ronnie, you were in your dark period, right?
Yes, that was the
I was just coming out of mine.
In tight to Cespedes, 1-1. Cespedes last 6 games, 11 for 18. Tweaked his arm a little bit on the throw the other night, and his shoulder was barking, but it hasn't affected his swing at all. He's been driving the ball to every part of the ballpark. Yesterday he was intentionally walked each of his last 2 plate appearances by the Diamondbacks, the last time putting the winning run on base in the 9th inning. That's how well he was swinging. Good slider there by Cole, and it's 1-2. What was interesting about that intentional walk in the 9th inning yesterday is that he represented the winning run, and he did try to steal second, but it was as Flores flied out to end the game.
Yeah, the 3rd pitch.
The Mets wanted him to steal on the 1st pitch, but he didn't feel as though he got a good enough lead, and so he didn't.
That's one of those that advanced scouting can really help you with, knowing the team and knowing that in that situation their middle infielders aren't going to cover. They're not going to throw the ball through. It's a free base.
And then a little bloop wins the game.
That's right.
But the Diamondbacks held on for a 3-2 win in 3 hours and 45 minutes. 1-2 coming. And that's just outside. 2-2 to Cespedes as Dribble Cabrera hitting cleanup. He's on deck. A.J. Cole, 25 years old, drafted out of high school by the Nats from Oviedo, Florida. 4th round in 2010, as Ronnie mentioned, got traded to Oakland, then traded back a year later. 17 starts in the minors this year, 5.82 ERA in AAA, and that's the International League, not the better offensive league, the Pacific Coast League. Fouled away.
Well, it's going to be incumbent on the rookie. Not the rookie, sorry. Asdrubal Cabrera, who is not hitting that 4th spot a lot, to be the protection for Cespedes.
Well, there's not a lot left in the middle of the Mets batting order now, with Bruce gone and Granderson gone and Conforto hurt.
Well, Terry Collins is also, I don't know if you mentioned it, Gary, but they were only working with a 3-man bench tonight.
Right, the Mets activated Familia as Conforto went on the DL, so only 3 bench players, 14 pitchers. And the way the weekend sets up, with the Mets playing a doubleheader on Sunday, and with Tommy Malone pitching 1 game and maybe Seth Lugo pitching the other game on a strict pitch count coming back from the DL, they may need some of those 9 relievers to fill the gap and give them a lot of innings over these 4 games. Long turn at bat for Cespedes. 7th pitch coming up from Cole. Nimmo at first and 1 out, and that's too high. 2nd full count already for Cole. 3 batters, and he's already thrown 19 pitches.
Well, he loves his slider. That's the pitch he seems to want to throw more than his fastball. So probably see that on the 3-2 pitch here to Cespedes.
See if Nimmo runs here with 3 and 2 and 1 out. He's going, and Cespedes takes low, ball 4, and the Mets have 2 men on. So a couple of walks in this first inning for Cole. The Nats were hoping that Max Scherzer would be ready to pitch this game tonight. Scherzer's been out with a neck issue, but he said a couple of days ago he wasn't going to make it. Now they're hoping that Scherzer will pitch Sunday night in the final game of the series.
They're in a position right now with this big lead. They're not going to catch the Dodgers. Dodgers with 90 wins, and Washington with 76. So, but they've got this division wrapped up at 13.5, so they can go very cautiously with several of their players who are on the DL, key players.
That's a great representation of Scherzer out in right field with the brown eye and the blue eye, staring out from that box out there. Here's Cabrera with 2 men on, and his dribble takes a fastball for a strike. I mean, it's a little eerie.
It is, right? That's what it feels like when you're a hitter facing Max.
Don't look at the eyes.
I mean, those are the best eyes since the Chick-fil-A ads.
It's the best eyes I've seen since Bela Lugosi.
Cabrera hitless in his last 14 at bats, batting here with 2 on and 1 out. And Cole misses outside, 1-1. Cabrera's got 5 career at bats against A.J. Cole, and he's 4 for 5 against him. Cole made 2 starts against the Mets last year, pitched pretty well in both. 1-0, 3.27. 8 starts for the Nats last year. This is his 5th start this year. And kind of that guy they plug in when they need an extra man. The other choice for the Nats to start tonight, they could have started Gio Gonzalez. It would have been his regular day, but they wanted to give him an extra day after he went deep into his last start, so he'll go tomorrow.
He's went a lot deeper in most of his starts this year, Gio.
He's had a great year. Cabrera whacks one down the left field line, slicing away. Foul.
Does it take you a couple of beats to get used to the ball off the bat and where it's going since we sit so high, or no?
It's easier here than at Citi Field.
There you go. It takes me a couple beats.
It's definitely an aerial view.
Well, the thing is, because we're so high here, you see the ball the entire way off the bat until it lands, which we don't have that luxury at Citi Field. Oh, there we are. Hi. 7th floor. They call it the 5th, but it's really the 7th. It's all branding. There's the 1-2 coming. Yeah, in the dirt. Good stop by Lobaton. 2-2. No, it's really true. When they opened this ballpark, on the elevator buttons, this was the 7th floor.
That's right.
But that sounds really high, so they changed the numbering scheme, and they made it the 5th floor.
Well, I put in my calendar on my phone, you know, things that I have to do, and one of them is the game tonight. It sent me a reminder that I'm not at the ballpark yet. It'll take me 4 minutes to get to the ballpark because I'm too high.
You're above the radar.
I'm above the radar.
This is the 25th pitch of the inning coming up for Cole.
And Cole is taking his time. Let's go pick up the tempo.
I mean, he's got a tired team behind him. Got in at 5 this morning, so they could really use him to work with a little more pace. And he bounces that one, and now he's run another full count. So he's thrown at least 6 pitches to each of the first 4 batters. He's already walked 2. There's yet to be a ball put in play. Dom Smith hitting 5th in the order on deck.
If you're not a strikeout pitcher and you don't pitch to contact, these are the kind of at-bats that players have against you.
Well, you got Nimmo at second, Cespedes at first, and 1 out. A 3-2 count to Cabrera.
I don't think they're going to run him here.
Not going, and it's drilled through the hole. A base hit for Cabrera. Nimmo being waved around third. The throw to the plate by Stevenson is too late, and the Mets have the early lead. As Dribble Cabrera serving as the cleanup hitter, and he serves a base hit into right to drive in his 36th run of the year. 1-0 New York.
Well, when you keep falling behind the count and get to 3-2 counts, and you can't get your slider over, you're just setting up a hitter for a big day. Olay from Cespedes right there to lift the ball pass. And Nimmo, of course, with his good speed, is going to score easily.
So the Mets have an early run and now looking for more with Dominic Smith. Dom is 8 for 46 to start his big league career with 3 home runs. And the fastball from Cole misses for ball 1.
And he's falling behind on another hitter. And you mentioned Garrett in AAA, A.J. Cole with the ERA almost at 6. In 86 2/3 innings, he gave up 117 hits in AAA in the International League.
That's a lot of hits.
That's a lot of hits.
I mean, you could see, again, if he was in the Pacific Coast League, which is much more hitter friendly, you could see that number and maybe massage it. It's hard to massage in the International League. That's hit up the middle, and that's into center field, a base hit. It hit the umpire, and that's going to be a dead ball. Meanwhile, Cespedes limping as he comes to the plate.
Oh boy.
And Terry Collins going to give him a look, and he may have to come out of the game, and this is just unbelievable.
2-man bench.
Well, also, you're basically out of outfielders if Cespedes comes out of the game.
Well, Matt Reynolds had an audition the other day.
Now, with the ball hitting the umpire, will they allow the run to score?
I always thought it was a dead ball.
I thought
when
it was
hit
a
the
dead
umpire.
ball, too, and they signaled dead ball.
Oh, it hit the glove of the pitcher, and he was a little slow reacting there.
Second base umpire Andy Fletcher, and they did call time.
Cespedes.
Now, I thought everybody moves up 1 base on this.
Cespedes is already limping before he touched third base.
But the home plate umpire was pointing to Cespedes like, go back to third.
Yeah, I think that's the way it's going to be ruled, that Cabrera is going to have to go back to second, and whoever replaces Cespedes will have to go to third.
There it is, right before third base.
So in a year that has been filled with leg issues for Yoenis Cespedes, yet another one presents itself. And so Matt Reynolds is going to run for him, and he will go to third base. So they do allow everybody to advance 1 base. It's a base hit for Dominic Smith, and because it hit the umpire, it costs the Mets a run for the moment and costs Smith an RBI. There's the second base umpire Andy Fletcher trying his best to get out of the way, but it caught his pant leg.
Lucky he didn't take a bad hop.
So this is, I mean, this has become so surreal with the day-by-day injuries with this team. You almost shrug your shoulders and say, well, of course it's another day ending in a Y. Of course the Mets get another player hurt. And so Cespedes, who has missed chunks of time this year because of leg issues, is out again. And Reynolds, who made a start in right field the other day, is going to have to go to the outfield. Travis d'Arnaud bats with the bases loaded and 1 out. And Cole quickly falls behind him, 2-0. So between the uniforms and the injury to Cespedes and Cole's difficulties, this has been kind of surreal beginning to this game.
To tell you how his infield feels about the way he's come out and pitched so far, almost all the time we see all the infielders run in when the pitching coach comes out. Not one of them moved. Not one of them.
Well, they look a little disgusted. He's already thrown 30 pitches. He's only gotten 1 out. He struck out Lagares on a close pitch on a for the first out.
Well, if he was having a tough time in AAA, it's not any easier up here.
His last start 6 days ago against Indianapolis in AAA, he gave up 4 runs in 4 innings and walked 4. He's already given up a run here, and he's got the bases loaded, 1 out. 2-0 to d'Arnaud. And Travis takes a high strike, 2-1. And d'Arnaud fouls off the fastball, 2-2. The inning began with a walk to Nimmo. Lagares struck out. Cespedes walked. Cabrera singled in a run. Smith had the base hit that hit the umpire, and Cespedes got hurt on his way home, and Reynolds running for him at third. It's been quite an eventful top of the first. Ahmed Rosario waits on deck. 2-2 coming. Struck him out with a fastball for the second out. So d'Arnaud unable to get a run in from third, and there are 2 away.
Well, the big looping swing, that the bad habit that d'Arnaud has gotten into. I don't know where he started it last year, and it's been nothing but trouble for him.
So Cole somehow has a chance to limit the damage to 1 run if he can get through Ahmed Rosario. Rosario 4 for 11 with runners in scoring position in his brief career, and he goes after a first pitch slider, 0-1.
Goodness. That's a hideous uniform.
That's electioneering, Keith. Too close to the polls. Fouled away. And it's 0-2 to Rosario. To Rosario, and he goes down swinging to end the inning. So Cole strikes out 3 in the inning. The Mets score a run, and the Mets lose another outfielder. Yoenis Cespedes pulling up lame. He's out. Joining the list. 1-0 Mets.
Met defense. Well, we've got a change, obviously. Matt Reynolds in left field. We'll find out more on the injury to Cespedes. It's not going to be good, folks. Gavin Cecchini at second base. Darno behind the plate. The only veteran on the infield is Cabrera at third.
And a veteran on the mound in Jacob deGrom, looking for his 14th win of the year, his third crack at it.
Well, 13 wins with a club that is 16 under 500 is pretty fantastic for deGrom, but he's lost 4 of his last 5. In his last 2 starts, he's allowed 5 runs in each.
Andrew Stevenson leading off for the Nationals, filling in right field today. And he flies one out to left center, and Matt Reynolds, who just came in to play left field after pinch running for Cespedes, makes the grab, one away. There's the Nationals lineup. It is very much a Sunday lineup, as they say in the business. No Zimmerman, no Rendon, no Wieters, no Kendrick, but Danny Murphy's right there in the 3-hole, which has to give the Mets jitters every time they see it. So Stevenson flies out, and now Adrian Sanchez making his 10th start. Sanchez, a kid from Venezuela who signed with the Nats at age 16 and spent 10 years in the minor leagues before he finally got a crack this year. And he takes a strike. He's at 43 at bats, hitting .279. deGrom, whose walk-up music at home is Simple Man, went the simple route with his nickname.
Yes.
Jake. Now, not as simple as Zach Greinke. I understand Greinke on his jersey tonight is wearing Greinke. Some guys just don't want to play along.
He's a little different, and that's fine with me. Yep. I don't mind. I'm trying to think. I don't know. It's just too old. I can't even think of myself as a young person deciding what nickname I would put on the back.
I would not be a participant.
Most of my nicknames are pretty much unprintable when I was a player. So.
And deGrom strikes out Sanchez with high heat, 99 miles an hour from deGrom. Haven't seen many of those.
Well, this is the kind of lineup. Now, I don't want to jinx deGrom, but with his A game, this is a lineup that he should handle pretty easily.
Well, we've got to take care of the next guy first. Murph's been slumping a little bit. Last 14 games, he's hitting just 196, but even with that, 320 for the year. Second in the league in doubles, 8th in the league in extra base hits. And he carves one foul, and he's lugging around that career .405 lifetime average against the Mets. .405 in the 2 seasons since he left.
30 games?
30 starts.
30 starts. Wow.
That's a month's worth of work. That's pretty doggone good.
And he grounds one to the right side. Cecchini down to a knee. And deGrom's got himself a 1-2-3 opening inning on just 9 pitches. 1-0 Mets after 1. Second inning, 1-0 New York. Gavin Cicchini leads off against A.J. Cole. Cicchini starting his 8th game. 1 for 3 with a walk yesterday. 7 for 25 this season. And Cole finds the outside corner, 1-1. A.J. Cole threw 36 pitches in the first inning, somehow allowed only 1 run, and it was only an umpire's interference that prevented a second run from scoring. Great chases a slider, 1-2.
Greatest Houdini act I've seen this year by Cole in that first inning.
Well, he's got a fairly flat slider and not a hard sinker. I can see why he's been getting a little bit lit up in AAA.
Jacob deGrom on deck, then Brandon Nimmo for the Mets in the second. Nationals with a 13.5 game lead in the National League East, just preparing themselves for October. And trying to get a little more healthy before they get there.
They've got like the traveling MASH unit, right? As they try to get not only healthy, but to get their guys back. And they've gotten Strasburg back, who had some leg cramps, but pitched very effectively in his start against Houston. Get guys back so they can get some at bats too.
Well, they've got so many outfielders hurt right now. I mean, they've used 13 different outfielders this year. As Cicchini goes down to the high fastball, so all 4 of Cole's outs tonight have been on strikeouts. But right now they've got all of their starting outfielders from opening day out. Right, Harper, Adam Eaton, and Jason Worth. Add to that Brian Goodwin, who did a nice job filling in. He's out, and so is Ryan Rayburn, who they picked up for insurance. So now they're playing guys like Alejandro De Aza and Andrew Stevenson, who's in there tonight. Here's deGrom, who has got a little cold with the bat lately. Just 1 for his last 16, which is notable because he was swinging the bat so well before that. That's a foul ball off his foot.
Well, of all the teams that have had injuries, the Mets certainly have had theirs. They are not on top of the list, Gary, and we were talking about it on the cab ride over today. The Dodgers are number 1 on the list,
which is just amazing when you think about it and how much depth they were able to pile up in order to withstand that. I mean, imagine having 90 wins on the 25th of August and have the most injuries of any team in the majors.
So there is a way around it.
Grounded to the right side. Lynn ranges wide, and the pitcher Cole didn't get there in time. He arrived but didn't get to the base, and deGrom is safe. Wow,
it's a base knock.
He lottie-dot it, Ron.
Just lazy.
That's a hustle base hit, and
good call. deGrom smelled it, and you know what a good athlete he is, and he busted, and he just beat Cole there.
I just don't understand how you can beat a young player.
To the right side.
And get basically caught with your pants down to pretty much being out hustled.
So that's Jake's 14th hit of the year, and now Nimmo takes a curveball for a strike. Nimmo walked his first time up, one of 2 walks in that first inning, and he scored the run.
Well, I got my ready to play checklist today. I just put a check by deGrom's name. He's ready to play today. 1, 2, 3 first, and hustling out a base hit.
Well, it's been a while for him, and I'm sure looking at the lineup tonight, he was probably licking his chops. I mean, you don't get that kind of opportunity very often against the highest scoring team in the National League. To face the B- lineup. Nimmo cracks one to center, but Taylor's right there. And that's the second out. First fair ball out for the Mets tonight. So 2 out. DeGrom still at first. Here's Juan Lagares, who took a call third strike his first time up. And slider for a strike. And another 0-2.
I've never seen a catcher, Ronnie, give a high sign, and it's always a high target.
Yeah.
And not throw a fastball.
And throw a breaking ball.
Throw a slider. I've never seen that. Boy, this game is changing. It's moving too fast for me.
Well, I'll say this. Pitchers have to try something, right? Because what they're doing this year isn't working.
Yes. You know, the players today, the way they, you know, the way the game has evolved for the pitcher about stuff and velocity and strikeouts is going to have to change. They're going to have to take over the entire plate, and that means owning the inside corner at some point.
Well, we saw a great example of that yesterday, right? I mean, Robbie Ray and Rafael Montero worked inside so consistently that it got the hitters a little unnerved.
Nice. Good. That's how it's supposed to be. Not supposed to be on a rocking chair in that box.
2-2 to Lagares, and he bounces one foul. Well, Lagares is going to get his opportunity now to play every day the rest of the way. It was going to be so anyway, but now with Cespedes going down with another injury, even more so. And he's got to show he can hit with some consistency, and right now it's just not happening. And he bounces one toward third. Sanchez will go to first with it, and that retires the side. An infield hit and one left. Hello, Mr. Lincoln. It's 1-0 Mets. tonight. The Mets take on the Reds at 7:10 p.m. The first 15,000 fans in attendance will receive a Mets fleece blanket courtesy of the Northwest Company. For tickets, visit Mets.com/tickets. Up.
Nice.
Oh, you better have good hands.
Down.
Every kid loves
Every
that.
kid loves it.
Loves it. Oh.
Well, it wasn't because of the up down. The up down made her happy, maybe because Dad had to stop.
So it's out of sequence, maybe. Is that what we're saying?
Maybe she got booed.
Too early to get booed.
She's very sensitive.
Adam Lind will lead off in the home second. Lind playing first base today. His 47th start of the year. Been a very nice bench piece for the Nationals this year, hitting .291. DeGrom retired the side on 9 pitches in the first inning. Lind, then Wilmer Defoe and Michael Taylor up against him in the second. And quickly ahead 0-2, and he is dealing tonight. 99, now 98.
He's had a couple passes at that 14th win. I think he's hungry for it. And that is DeGrom, of course.
He's been giving up a lot of soft contact hits, but a lot of hits nonetheless. 10 hits and 6 1/3 in that last start against Miami. One-two to Lind, and he reaches for it and pokes it down the left field line. Foul.
You know, I know some in baseball have devalued the win, but you know, to get to 15, 16 wins with a team that has struggled all season long, to me is great accomplishment.
Well, he's got 13, and nobody in the league has more than 15. And that's Clayton Kershaw, who's been out for a month and a half. That's pretty impressive. Nobody's passed him. 1-2. Struck him out. 99-mile-an-hour fastball. Second strikeout of the night for DeGrom.
Little high cheddar out of the strike zone. Can't catch up with that high cheddar.
Now Wilmer Defoe, who's the only Wilmer in Major League Baseball who does not use the Friends theme as his walk-up music. And he takes a strike. It's also the only Wilmer in the game tonight.
That's right.
And that's Wilmer getting the night off. Defoe's done a nice job filling in at short with Trey Turner on the disabled list. Turner has begun a rehab stint, and they hope to have him back in the next week or two. Remember when the season began, what the Nationals lineup looked like when they had Adam Eaton and Trey Turner, two tremendous table setters at the top of that batting order. Eaton got hurt against the Mets early this year, out for the season with a knee injury, and now Turner has been out for more than a month.
Turner's had 2 separate injuries. Started the year with a hamstring issue, and then of course the wrist fracture, which he's close to being back from.
So Defoe has started 57 games for the Nationals. That was not in the game plan. Severe choke up, and he slaps one down to third. Running throw by Cabrera in the dirt, and Smith can't handle it. And Defoe is safe.
Tough pick here. A throw on the run. In between hops, always the tough one there.
Keith, I don't know how much you got to see of the series against Arizona. Did you see the pick that Goldschmidt made the other night?
I did not.
It was phenomenal.
It's pretty similar to that ball, but even tougher.
Yeah, much more up into his body.
Yeah.
Well, Goldschmidt's got very good hands. I know that. He's won the Gold Glove twice.
Now Michael Taylor fouls one back. They did score a base hit for Defoe.
Really? Gosh. Where were these scorekeepers when I was around? Very generous.
Michael Taylor's having his best season, hitting .263, 12 home runs. 0 for 14 in his career against DeGrom. Defoe's running. The throw by d'Arnaud hits the runner. And Defoe's safe at second. His 7th stolen base of the year, and he's a little shaken up after getting whacked with that throw.
Oh, it's automatic for a trainer to come out. Watch the d'Arnaud. Does he kind of curl his wiggle his hand? He sure did. A little wasted motion. As he brought the ball back. That's what happens when you slide head first.
Hit him right in the side of the face.
Yes, it did.
When you have that one flap, that other ear is exposed, and that's where it hit.
Ooh, I got him solid too. That was a good right cross. Ooh.
He's okay. He'll stay around. Have a little headache in the morning. Stolen base, the 14th against DeGrom this year in 16 tries. So the tying run in scoring position with 1 out. A 1-1 count to Taylor. Taylor's just recently back from a long stint on the DL. He was out for better than 5 weeks with an oblique injury and has not hit much since coming back. The last 11 games since he returned, hitting just .162. So trying to get himself restarted. One-two from DeGrom. And that got him looking. 2 men down.
That was a late call by the home plate umpire, Nick Lentz, but that caught a lot of the plate. I know that Taylor didn't like it. What do you think, Keith?
Oh, that's knees. That's knees, Ronnie.
Yep.
It's a strike.
Right down the pipe.
It's a strike. I'm just wondering why it took Lentz so long to ring it up.
Well, I think because d'Arnaud was sitting on the inside corner, ball was across, and it just, they don't like to call that pitch, but he did.
Nicely framed by d'Arnaud, that's for sure. And we know that d'Arnaud is excellent at that.
Third strikeout for DeGrom. Now the former Met Alejandro Diaz bats with 2 out and a runner at second. And that bounces away from d'Arnaud, and that'll get Defoe to third. So the wild pitch. After an infield hit and a stolen base, Defoe winds up at third base.
Not much that d'Arnaud can do here. That's a tough one.
Yeah, that's on DeGrom. The ball hit about 10 feet in front of the plate. Just spiked it.
7th wild pitch of the year for DeGrom.
He can go from the windup now, though, with 2 outs and the runner on third. I think that's what he's going to choose.
And Diaz bounces one down to first. Easy play for Smith. Side retired. An infield hit and a runner left at third after 2. 1-0 Mets. Started early this season. The first time that he hurt his leg. He stayed on the active roster, played a few days later, and it was only a week after that he went on the disabled list for 6 weeks with a hamstring injury. And again tonight, injuring his leg and coming out of the game, and Matt Reynolds took over for him. So Reynolds up for the first time tonight. And he flies one behind first base. Into foul ground comes Lind at the barrier to make the catch. 1 out.
Look at that big glove. How can you miss a pop-up?
I don't know. Did you ever miss any?
Yes. No. I missed on a pop-up right where I was under it. It was only in Candlestick Park. I missed one because that wind got me. That happens.
Here's Asdrubal Cabrera, who drove in the run in the first inning. Now 5 for 6 in his career against A.J. Cole. Here's a Spectrum high-speed pitch. 99 for DeGrom. I don't know. Have we ever seen 99 from Jake before?
I'm not sure. I don't think so. No, we haven't seen 3 digits, or I haven't.
I don't think a Met has thrown triple digits since late April.
Yeah.
When the big guy suffered a lat injury.
That's right.
On this mound.
That's right. He did come out throwing triple digits that day.
1-2 to Cabrera. Well, Syndergaard's still trying to fight his way back. Not yet ready for a rehab start. Matt Harvey continues his rehab tomorrow night. He was going to pitch in Florida, but it's supposed to rain there, so they moved him up to Binghamton instead. Going to pitch at Portland, as a matter of fact, tomorrow night, Harvey. And Cabrera down on strikes as Cole ran one in on him. And Cole's got his 5th strikeout of the night.
Well, good placement. Fastball away, and then he painted this one in and tight. It's a good pitch.
So Cole, who was all out of sync to start the game, walked a couple, gave up 1 run, was fortunate it wasn't a second. But he's now retired 7 of the last 8. And here's Dominic Smith. The umpire's pant leg cost Smith an RBI in the first inning. And a base hit up the middle. It hit Andy Fletcher on its way into center field. That made it a dead ball and meant that Cespedes, who hurt himself running from second to home, was not allowed to score. Meanwhile, in Miami, Giancarlo Stanton has already hit 2 home runs tonight. He now has 49 for the year.
Would you say yesterday the number for Maris was 51 after certain,
I think it was
53?
50 as of yesterday.
Okay.
So he's close to that pace. There's a strike, 3-1.
Well, everything's new. Spikes for the players, new bats.
In the air to left field, pretty well hit. De Aza back, but he's there, and that retires the side. 1-2-3 inning for A.J. Cole. Keeps it 1-0 New York in the 3rd. brilliance.com with limited edition New York Mets jerseys and tees featuring player pick nicknames. Wear the gear that the players are wearing on field this weekend. Available while supplies last at MLBshop.com.
Now I get it.
He did say inaugural Players Weekend. You know what that implies. Jose Lobaton leads off in the home third. Lobaton hitting just 158, serving as the backup to Matt Wieters. The Nats were carrying a third catcher, Pedro Severino, but he was sent down today to make room for A.J. Cole. So the Nats have a 4-man bench tonight. The Mets started the night with a 3-man bench, which quickly was whittled to 2. No swing by Lobaton, 2-0. Pitcher Cole is on deck, and then Stevenson for the Nats in the third. Lobaton loses the bat, which hits the screen.
Wow, that went right over the head of one of the coaches down there.
Went over the head of Murph too, didn't it?
Shue.
That's Rick Shue.
Rick Shue, the old Rick Shue, folks, was the third baseman for the Phillies that had the unfortunate timing to be the man that replaced Mike Schmidt. Not an easy task.
He had better timing there, ducking out of the way of the bat. Big cut by Lobaton, 2-2.
I swear Lobaton must not get any hits other than when he plays against the Mets. He's only batting $158, and every time he plays against the Mets, he always seems to get a knock.
Not this time. DeGrom goes with heat to get him for his 4th strikeout through the first 8 batters. Well, we asked for your comments about the uniforms and our Toyota tweet of the game. Let's see what you said. Love the jerseys. Very colorful. Little personal touch. Love the jerseys. Socks are hideous.
Laura? Laura.
The jersey's guaranteed the team won't get lost in the dark. Well, that's for sure. However, it did not prevent injury within the first inning of the game.
Are you yelling at Laura?
Well, the socks
Come on, Laura.
The socks are hideous.
Laura.
You have to admit.
Look at that.
I mean, somebody thought that was a good idea. 1-1 to A.J. Cole, who is 0 for 16 in his major league career. I mean, at least if the Sox matched, or if they were within the color scheme of the team that's wearing them.
Well, and I'm thinking, you know, fashion capital of the world, New York. I'm thinking the only fashion designer that might be able to design something like that is maybe Betsy Johnson. She loved colors.
Every color?
Yes, she loved every color.
All the time?
And mixing them up. And
1-2 from DeGrom. And Cole with a half swing. And he went around for strike 3. And that's 5 strikeouts for DeGrom. And he's retired the first 2 here in the third.
Yeah, Betsy Johnson's clothes are they're out there.
Yes. Good slider there by DeGrom. Almost not fair to the opposing pitcher.
So 2 out and nobody on. Now Andrew Stevenson, who flied to left his first time up. Stevenson, 23-year-old rookie from LSU. Second round pick by the Nats 2 years ago.
He's having a tough go of it, and 40 at bats, hitting on the interstate. Big strong kid.
They have raved about his defense. He's made a number of terrific catches. And right now just holding the fort until their regulars get back.
Keith, you said Harper was walking on his own, but gingerly.
Yes, and evidently up and down stairs, I guess, which is part of the process of rehabilitating him. He has to take one step and then the other leg on the same flight. So he's not taking, like, walking down steps normally yet. So it's a slow process.
Bone bruise on his knee after sliding off first base on a rainy night. And the Nats are hoping to have him back in time for him to get at bats at the end of the season and be ready for the postseason. 1-2 coming. Stevenson whacks one down the left field line, foul.
It's going to be an interesting choice, Gary and Ron. The National League MVP. You've got Stanton is having a fabulous year. You've got the big guy in third baseman, Arenado in Colorado,
and Charlie Blackmon.
Charlie Blackmon. You've got Goldschmidt's having a terrific year. It's going to be a tough call.
Ground ball. Rosario charges. Good pickup. Throws out Stevenson. Side retired. 1-2-3 for DeGrom in the third with a couple of strikeouts. 1-0 Mets after 3. Podcast here. Jonas Schwartz, Willie Colon, Mike Westhoff, and Damian Woody discussing the Jets quarterback competition, plus get an in-depth preview of tomorrow's preseason game with the Giants on the JetsBlog.com, featured on SNY.TV. Travis d'Arnaud leads off the fourth inning. He struck out his first time up against A.J. Cole. Each pitcher has struck out 5 over the first 3 innings. Welcome to baseball 2017. Travis hits one foul down the right side. It's 0-2. Every month this season has set a new major league record for most strikeouts in any calendar month. And this month is on pace to do it again.
Wow.
So let me ask you guys, as two guys who have watched baseball for as long as you have, how do you mitigate against that? What's the best way, if there is one, to tweak whatever needs to be tweaked so that more balls get put in play and there are fewer strikeouts, which I think we all would agree would be something that would be valuable for the game?
Well, I think it's happening on the grassroots level as we speak. Guys that have played and retired, a guy like Mark Teixeira, who went from being a 300 hitter to a 220 hitter because of the shifts and taking away base hits. I think on the grassroots level, if you're coaching young people, not teaching them to use the entire field, you're doing them a disjustice.
Broken bat fly ball over toward the right field line. Stevenson circles, gets to foul ground, and makes the catch. Didn't get a great angle to that ball to start, but made up for it.
I'm of the feeling, Gary, and you can see here, it looked like he had a little trouble, but it's a little windy here, gusty winds. Not terrible. My feeling, Gary, is this. Call the high strike. Call letters in the knees as written in the rule book, and you'll stop these hitters from trying to hit fly balls. There'll be more strikeouts in the beginning, but they're going to have to adjust, get on top of the high pitch.
So what you're saying is a little counterintuitive. You're saying by calling more strikes at the top of the zone, there'll be fewer strikeouts in the long run.
In the long run,
yeah,
there'll have to be an adjustment made.
They'll have to swing the bat.
Well, but you have to, if you tell the hitters that you're going to do it,
you make an announcement. We're going to start calling high strikes, and the umpires are told to call the high strike, and they can moan and groan and hit their head against a wall as long as they want. But this uppercutting, they're not going to catch up to the high fastball.
I don't know what word I used, but I was trying to say disservice to the young players if they're not teaching them to use the whole field, have a two-strike approach, all those things that some of the organizations, even in the major leagues, are working hard right now to improve on two strikes, putting the ball in play. But I like that, Keith. Call more strikes, get the game moving, get people swinging the bat, putting the ball in play.
You cannot tell me the pitching's any better. There's more hard throwers, yes.
There's ball 4 to Rosario. Well,
but you look at the team ERAs, they're off the charts. DRA's over 5. Team ERAs, it's absurd.
Well, obviously that also has to do with the explosion in home runs, right? Because it's clear that the way hitting has been taught now over the last half-decade has been sacrifice contact for home runs. It seems, though, and this is to Ronnie's point, that the pendulum has swung back a little bit with the better teams. There's Gavin Cicchini. The Astros are the best case in point. It's a home run hitting team that doesn't strike out. Now, is that because they have better talent, or is it because they're teaching the game better?
Hard to answer that one. Yeah.
I like their ballpark. They hit home runs. That left field fence is ridiculously close, and the ball does carry there, even in the right field gaps. Into right field. It's a small ballpark. I mean, if you hit it down the line in left field before it goes back in the gap, it's deep in the gap, but you got a lot of space down that left field line where just a little poke, it's a home run.
It's like Fenway Park like, right?
Yep.
Cicchini struck out his first time up. And he hits a double play ball right to Defoe. The feed to Murphy and on to first. 6-4-3 double play. Side retired. Middle of the 4th. 1-0 New York. Proud to contribute $2,500 to Northwell Health and the Katz Institute for Women's Health. The total contribution to date is $137,500 so far this season. Visit northwell.edu/cats to learn more. Home fourth inning. Adrian Sanchez leads off against Jacob deGrom. Mets lead 1-0, and Sanchez hits a grounder to Rosario. No double clutch that time. One pitch and one out for deGrom. Your Mets Power Pitchers of the Week brought to you by East Coast Power and Gas. Highest strikeouts per 9 innings. 2 Nationals and Kershaw, and then deGrom.
Only name is the 5th name I'm surprised at, Jimmy Nelson, right? I never think of him as a strikeout pitcher, but having a good year.
One out and nobody on. Now Daniel Murphy grounded out to second base his first time up. Murph started the night 4th in the National League in batting. He'd been leading the league earlier this season. Hit .347 last year. He's at .320 right now. And he grounds that one foul, and quickly it's 0-2.
Gosh, look at that hat.
deGrom so far spending all of his time in Murph's kitchen, trying to get deep in there. I mean, inside pitches, folks.
Got to do it. He came up and in at 99.
Yeah, he's throwing hard.
Murph is 3 for 10 against deGrom.
This is one of those nights too, Ronnie, when it's a little cool and it's like a shot of adrenaline. You know, it's a hot summer, even though it hasn't been that hot a summer. But still, when it cools off, boy, it just energizes you. Well, good eye by
Murph. Gets
Murph.
tied up on the slider and somehow stopped the swing.
Somehow did. That's why he's a good hitter there. That's a tough pitch to lay off. Good 0-2 pitch from deGrom.
One-two coming. And he fouls off the fastball. You know, you were talking before, Keith, about MVP candidates in the National League. What's fascinating is that you did not mention any players from the teams with the 2 best records in the league.
True.
Dodgers and the Nationals. I mean, Bryce Harper would have been in the discussion before he got hurt.
Exactly.
1-2 coming, and he swings and misses. The ball gets by d'Arnaud. He plays the carom, and his throw is in time to get Murphy. Nice play by d'Arnaud on the recovery. deGrom notches his 6th strikeout, and d'Arnaud threw it right on the money.
Slider down and in. Nice target by Dominic Smith. Outside the line. Well done. Even with those socks.
So 2 out and nobody on. Adam Lynn coming up. And he lines one the other way for a base hit. Just the 2nd hit against deGrom, an opposite field single for Lynn.
Well, opposite field base hit. Lind having a really fine year. Backdoor slider. Hey, that's a pretty good pitch. That's pretty good hitting.
So Lind aboard with 2 out. Now Wilmer Difo, who had the first Nationals hit. Slow ground ball to 3rd. Cabrera fielded it, threw it on the run low, and Smith couldn't dig it out. And Difo lines one to left, but right at Reynolds, who stays with it, and that retires the side. Guy without much outfield experience, Reynolds held his ground. Still 1-0.
A devastating blow to the club, but we've had several. So we'll put somebody else's name in the lineup and move forward. But it certainly is it's a tough one because he was having such a great year, and I just hope that whatever he's going to do, whatever they're going to do to get him better, works, and this kid continues to be a great player.
Tonight's quote of the game presented by Investors Bank, banking in your best interest. Terry Collins talking about the loss of Michael Conforto. Michael was diagnosed late yesterday with a tear of the posterior capsule in his shoulder, and it is very likely that he will be having surgery, and it's going to be a significant road back if that's the case for Michael. And then to compound it tonight, it was Cespedes hurting his leg yet again. This is yesterday, and it was just something that none of us had really seen before. But from the way I understand it, Michael has had dislocated shoulders before swinging the bat. It happened to him in high school and college. So it was not a new thing for him, but the tear obviously makes it far more significant.
You know, to put Terry Collins' remarks in context, every time we're down there and someone gets hurt, he always has a couple of phrases he goes to. One is, you got to play a game tonight. You got to be ready. Whoever's in there has got to pick it up. He's always very defiant about his team playing with the people they have, not the people they've lost. That was the first time that there was, to me, a little resignation, a little emotion in his voice about losing Conforto.
Well, it's been an accumulation of just stunning numbers of key personnel going down one after the other, and then you compound all the folks who got traded away, and he's basically left with a shell of what he started with this year.
And then add one more on Cespedes tonight.
DeGrom had an infield hit his first time up. And Jake goes down swinging. 6 strikeouts for Cole. I might also note it's been reported that Travis Tyrone, whom we've seen the last couple of years in spring training but has never played in the big leagues, was scratched from the Vegas lineup tonight. So it's every chance that he'll be joining the Mets to take Cespedes' spot. They'd have to make room on the 40-man roster for him.
He's a guy with a lot of power, and on base percentage has always been good in the minor leagues, just never has gotten a shot. So we'll see.
Nimmo tonight has walked and flied out. He's 0 for 1. Also on the rehab trail, David Wright tonight played 5 innings at third base down in Port St. Lucie. Had 3 chances, an assist, to put out, and an error.
Had 1 for 3 at the plate.
And that's going to be really interesting to follow, particularly the defensive side of it for David, because nobody really knows whether he's going to be able to throw well enough to play at the major league level, and he's giving it every chance now. 2-1 to Nimmo.
We're a change up there from Cole.
Well, Cole threw 36 pitches in the first inning. He's settled in nicely since then, but he's getting close to 90 working in the 5th. His curveball outside, and it's 3-1.
Well, he started getting a little happy with his slider. He threw a couple good ones. Felt like he's getting his rhythm here, and now getting a little bit too happy with that breaking ball.
Nimmo's already drawn a walk tonight, and now he's drawn another. So in his last start, he walked 3 times. He's already walked twice tonight. That's 4 walks for A.J. Cole. Let's look at tonight's Verizon trivia question. Most career saves in Nationals Expos franchise history. Did we not ask this same question earlier this year?
It was a derivation of this question. It wasn't exactly this question.
Okay. Here's Juan Lagares, who has struck out and grounded out 0 for 2.
I think he was a rookie saves leader for the Nationals Expos franchise history. Right. Because you know the answer to that.
I do.
Okay.
This is a different guy, right?
I think so, yeah.
It's the guy who pitched for the Mets at one point. Right?
Yeah, right-hander, hard thrower, hard slider.
You got it.
I got him late one game in Montreal.
Of course you did. Lagares pops one up. Murphy calling for it. And there are 2 out.
He threw me a wicked. I still have this visual, Gary. It was 8th inning, 9th inning, and he was tough. He threw me a nasty slider, hard, and I don't know how I hit it, and I just hit a bullet down the right field line, and we won the game. I gave him an L, and a wicked pitch.
Nicely done.
Hey, there's a lot of those pitches that pitchers made a nasty quality pitch and just don't know how the heck you did it.
It's one of those days when the mustache beat the beard.
Yes, very good.
Matt Reynolds up for the second time, fouled out to first base his first trip. So in Philadelphia tonight, Rhys Hoskins homered for the Phillies. Rhys Hoskins now has 9 home runs in his first 54 at bats, which is the fastest any major league player has ever gotten to 9 home runs in his career. And the amazing part about that, if you'll remember, Rhys Hoskins made his debut against the Mets, and he went 0 for his first 12. And even with that, he has 9 home runs in his first 54 at bats.
So really, I mean, he's hit 9 home runs in his last 42 at bats. Wow.
I mean, we had his mom and his dad.
That's right.
Or actually his dad and his sister and his girlfriend looking on from the stands and in agony for 3 days.
Yes. Couldn't buy a hit.
Waiting for Rhys to get a hit.
Did you guys interview him, or you just had him on camera?
They were on camera.
Okay.
Yeah. But their reactions were priceless. Two to Reynolds. Reynolds took over for Cespedes when Yoenis came out of the game in the first inning. Hurt his leg running the bases. We've yet to get any kind of medical update on Cespedes.
Maybe we do it just to the Phillies players. Didn't we have Jared Eichhoff's girlfriend at the time that's now become his wife, and her expressions through his first start also?
I think since Grandpa Bert, the Phillies relatives have had the best emotional reactions to put on camera.
Nice.
Grandpa Bert, though, still is the best of all time. Of course, talking about Steven Matz's grandfather. Especially the slap of the head. That was an all-timer. Reynolds down on strikes, inning over. 7 strikeouts in 5 innings for A.J. Cole. We're halfway through in Washington, 1-0 New York.
Nationals Park. Mets up 1-0 on the Nationals as Jacob deGrom is cruising right now. Michael Taylor leading off for the Nats, and as you guys mentioned earlier in the broadcast, Taylor off to his best start of his career, having the best season of his career, and he's made a change. He's pretty much zigged where the rest of the league has zagged. The rest of the league trying to hit more fly balls. Michael Taylor instead has chosen to focus on hitting the ball up the middle and the opposite way line drives. That's pretty much all he focuses on during batting practice now. He said in the past what got him into trouble was a couple of games in a row he'd hit a home run, he'd pull that home run, he'd get very pull happy, very fly ball happy, and would get out in front of everything. This season he's focused on doing the opposite, and it's worked for him.
It's the same old story.
Drives that one foul. Well, clearly the numbers bear it out. He's having by far his best season.
Yes, and I've seen some of his home runs. He's hit to right center field, the opposite field. So, you know, this is nothing new. It's been going on in baseball since the beginning. You get a little intoxicated with the long ball, and it gets you in a world of trouble.
He strikes out on the fastball. Another 99er from deGrom for his 7th strikeout of the night. Maybe it's the hat.
No, I think Keith brought up the proper point, is that when you are slogging through a season as a starter, you're pitching every 5 days, and it's heat and it's hot and you're just going through uniforms, and then you catch a night like this, you feel like you can throw the ball through a brick wall. It's amazing.
And in the field too.
Feel that way too in the field?
It just, you know, we don't play 3-hour, 3.5-hour games on a regular basis back in our day. I don't know how I would hold up to that, but I'm sure I'd have held up fine. But you just feel invigorated when there's cool air comes back in.
We saw Matt Grace up in the Nationals bullpen. Pitcher do a 4th in the inning. Grace one of 4 lefties in the Nationals pen right now. That bunt bluff brings Cabrera in at third base a little bit. And De Aza swings at the curveball and misses 1-2. De Aza last year as a Met had a miserable first half of the season, but really played well the second half. Wound up hitting .205, and it was quite a climb for him to wind up at that point. 1-2, and it's hit off the fists out to right, and Nimmo is there to grab it. 2 out. So deGrom keeps rolling. He's allowed just 2 singles, no walks, 7 strikeouts over the first 4 2/3. And now the number 8 hitter, Jose Lobaton. If you're just joining us and wondering about this Nationals lineup, the Nationals played in Houston last night and played 11 innings. Didn't get back until 5 in the morning. And so Dusty Baker is sitting many of his regulars today. That's lined over third, a base hit for Lobaton. The 3rd Washington hit. And let's see, is Cole going to bat? Apparently he is.
I think that Dusty's in a position right here where this is another arm up from the minor leagues, and his team is way ahead. He's going to. His bullpen flew in late too. They're going to get their rest.
Yeah, and 6 of them pitched last night too.
Yes.
But Cole's at 96 pitches, and you wonder how much further Dusty can push him. In any event, he'll bat here, looking for his first big league hit. He struck out his first at bat tonight.
I was reading today that it's the anniversary in 1985 on this day that Dwight Gooden won his 20th game, the youngest pitcher ever to win 20 games.
At age 20.
At age 20.
That was an incredible year, was it not?
Right.
They've done a medical report on Yoenis Cespedes, right hamstring strain.
Okay.
That came in the first inning tonight. Just over 24 hours after the Mets lost Michael Conforto for the season. Mets lose Cespedes, and who knows whether that might be season ending as well. We'll have to wait and see. 2-0 to Cole. And now 3-0. So DeGrom, who hasn't walked anybody all night, falls behind the opposing pitcher.
You know, that game that Dwight won his 20th, he only went 6 innings, gave up 3 runs and 1 against the San Diego Padres, but he can be excused because the start prior he threw a shutout against the San Francisco Giants on 144 pitches and 16 strikeouts.
That's high, ball 4, and so DeGrom may be losing his concentration for a moment. Walks Cole on 4 pitches, and that puts 2 men on.
So if he
the State of Baseball history presented by Empire City Casino.
I was going to say, if he got his 20th against San Diego, it had to be in August.
Right, you got it. Shutout.
What do you
144 pitches, 24-4 that year.
That's right.
With a 1.53.
It's a pretty good year.
I played it. I viewed at first base, every one of them.
Yes, you did.
Here's Andrew Stevenson with 2 on and 2 out. Takes a slider for a strike. Stevenson has fly to left and grounded to short 0 for 2. Getting just his 8th start in the big leagues and trying to stare down Jacob deGrom. And he takes one the other way, but it's snagged by Cabrera to end the inning. Hard hit ball off the bat of Stevenson, but Cabrera in the right spot to stick out the glove, make the grab, and end the inning. 5 scoreless for deGrom, 1-0 New York. The night 5.5 back in the wild card, so they're still around in the race, and that might enhance Stanton's MVP chances. Meanwhile, Jacob deGrom cruising tonight with a 1-0 lead after 5. The G pitch cast.
Well, pumped up for this game. We haven't seen him throw this consistently hard all game long through 5 innings. 99 after 99 after 99 has been deGrom this evening.
We'll see how long he can sustain that. He's only thrown 63 pitches through the first 5 innings.
Got that shot of him. You don't usually see him with a jacket over his right arm, but it is a little cooler.
Upper 60s right now in Washington. Very unseasonable. As Dribble Cabrera has the only RBI in this game. He singled home a run in the first inning, 1 for 2. A.J. Cole still out there. You wouldn't have given a dime for that being a possibility back in the first, when Cole walked 2 of the first 3 hitters, was behind 1-0, was almost 2-0, but for umpire interference. But Cole settled in. He struck out the last 2 batters in the first inning, and he has only given up 1 infield hit since.
He's found a groove.
He's walked 4. He struck out 7, allowed 1 run, 3 hits. Dominic Smith on deck, then Travis d'Arnaud. And a check swing. He went around on the breaking ball. Strike 3.
Not sure about that.
Number 8 for Cole. That ties his career high.
Let's see right here. Maybe he did. No giggling.
That's a hard concession for you, I know.
Pay attention, Ron.
Here is Smith, who had the base hit that hit the second base umpire, which cost the Mets a run in the first inning. It also cost the Mets Cespedes. He got hurt on that play. And he fouls back the fastball, 0-1. Smith 1 for 2 tonight. I was just thinking. And Smith flies one into shallow center, and Taylor waits for it. 2 out. For so much of this season, a big worry with this team was, how are you going to squeeze 4 outfielders into 3 spots? Bruce, Granderson, Conforto, Cespedes. They're all out.
Yeah.
All
gone.
All out. 2 have moved on. 2 are hurt. Now you got other guys. It's crazy. There's Travis d'Arnaud, who struck out and fouled out to right. And that's nubbed to the right side. Tough play for Murphy. The glove.
Wow.
No flip.
Where's the first
d'Arnaud
baseman?
has an infield hit.
Where is the first baseman?
He went right to the bag. He needed to go to the ball and ladle it over there to the pitcher.
That's the first baseman's
And the
ball.
pitcher did his job. He got over.
Well, okay. That's a botch job.
I mean, Cole, who was late getting off the mound on DeGrom's ball in the second inning, that time was busting it.
Yeah, no, that was the in-between play. So you got to bust it over there. If you can't get to it, the first baseman's got to get it and hand it to you. But Lynn was on the bag. Murph's not going to get it.
d'Arnaud will take it. He's got an infield hit. And now a slider for a strike to Rosario.
Looking at Lynn's slider, Ron, Gary, and he's getting a lot of guys like what we saw with Cabrera, checking their swing of the ball in the dirt. It must be a late, tight down break.
Fastball strike to Rosario.
I mean, it looks like a lollipop on, from the center field camera, but I've seen too many of the hitters, like what happened with d'Arnaud, Cabrera, that it's got to have a late, tight break. It's a deceptive slider.
Rosario drew a walk his last time up, just his second walk in the big leagues. 83 official at bats.
The book on Rosario, when you get ahead of him, should be breaking pitches in the dirt away. And he'll have to make an adjustment to that at some point. Either take it.
Lind takes a look, but that's out of play. Let's answer our Verizon trivia question. Most career saves in franchise history for the Nats and Expos. Jeff Reardon?
No question. Yep, he was good. Who the Mets trade him for?
If I recall correctly.
Because I was surprised they got rid of Reardon, because he was.
Yeah, he was with the Mets at the start of his career for 2.5 years. Gonna look it up.
He was a Western Mass guy.
They traded him with Dan Norman to the Expos in May of 1981 for the incredible talent of Ellis Valentine.
Ellis, you know what? Ellis Valentine was incredibly talented.
He was incredibly talented. Big guy who could hit home runs, had tremendous throwing arm.
Could run, right, too?
Yep. In the air, center field. Taylor going back, and he makes the catch. Didn't get a great jump, but made up for it. Retreats to retire Rosario and end the inning. Still 1-0 New York in the 6th. To Taiwan for 2, where you'll experience a touch of culture and adventure, plus accommodations at the Regent Taipei in the sky. Take off to Taiwan sweepstakes. Presented by Taiwan Tourism Bureau. Go to sny.tv/Taiwan Tourism and enter today.
Are we getting more tweets back on the uniforms? Truck?
You're just upset because 2 of the 3 tweets we showed love the uniforms.
He's all over Lauren.
Laura.
All over.
The Sox, man. The Sox just kill me every time we show them. Adrian Sanchez is 0 for 2. Struck out and grounded out against DeGrom, who has been money tonight. 5 scoreless innings against this B lineup. And he goes to the curveball to get a swinging strike, 1-2. Sanchez making just his 10th major league start after 11 years in the minor leagues. 11 years in the minor leagues. How do guys do that?
I don't know how they do it. They really don't.
You know how tough it is too when you're 11 years in. You're more than likely, I bet the great majority of them are married with kids, and how difficult that is.
Yeah.
You know, your kids go to school. You're playing. It's not like you're playing 8 years or 5 years in a major league town. You're minor leagues. You're going from here to there every year. You're like a pinball.
Gypsy.
A nomad.
It's tough on the family.
1-2 coming. Somehow fouled that ball off.
So we got that one off the thumbs.
Here in Washington, they've got the exit velocity on the board. They just put up 123 mile-an-hour exit velocity on that foul ball.
Can you believe that?
Think that was right?
Oh, my.
1-2. And that's fouled away. That was 50. That seems more in line with reality.
I like that they're putting the hit speed up there if they can get it right on not only the balls that are powdered, but the ones that aren't.
See, you love that. You love the softly hit ones, the 37-mile-an-hour exit velocity.
My favorite.
What is
Ron loves it when the hitters are embarrassed.
What does he say? He looks like he hit it with a rolled up Sporting News.
Yes,
Ooh.
yes.
Oh, I remember. I've heard that one before.
7th pitch of the at bat to Sanchez, and he rolls that one foul. Daniel Murphy waiting on deck. So DeGrom trying to dispose of the rookie Sanchez before he has to face Murph in a 1-run game. And he misses with the slider, 2-2.
Making DeGrom work here.
Ninth pitch of the at bat, and Sanchez lofts one out to left. Reynolds is there. 1 out. Time for the science of baseball, brought to you by Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Center. More science, less fear. It's Fashion Tips with Keith.
Oh no,
that's and science. You know where we're going to tonight.
Well, folks, anybody that knows the color wheel, look at those colors. They don't go. I mean, this is ridiculous. It's awful socks. Number one. Look at the different colors on the shoes. Horrible. The orange and blue, okay, contrasting colors, we can go with that. The red sleeve, niet, does not go with orange. And the orange hat, hideous.
Keep you away from Project Runway.
I think Keith should get his own runway. Good slider by DeGrom to start off Murph, who's 0 for 2 tonight, grounded out and struck out. Murphy hits this one in the air to center. Lagares eases back. And there are 2 out.
I'm not going to be surprised tomorrow if Dusty Baker gives Murph a rest. He looks tired.
He'll put his other regulars in probably and sit Murphy down.
Murph's being the good soldier right here playing today after they got in, 6 in the morning.
Well, Kendrick and Rendon and Zimmerman and Wieters all getting the night off tonight. Adam Lind has one of the 3 hits for the Nats against DeGrom. He singled to left his last time up. 3 infielders on the right side on the triangle against Lind. Here's what I want to know. The one sock is kind of Mets colors.
Yeah.
Do the guys have the option of wearing 2 of those as opposed to wearing the other one that doesn't match?
I would say they definitely have the option.
Well,
I don't know. Well, Cicchini's not wearing them. That's good.
Went with the normal blues. Cabrera throws him out. That retires the side. That's a 5-3 putout in your scorecard. 6 scoreless for DeGrom.
did.
Kurt Suzuki has 15 home runs.
Got it down.
Okay. Here's your Mets box score presented by Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Center. Mets have had just 4 hits tonight. They got their run in the first inning against A.J. Cole on an Asdrubal Cabrera RBI single. Cole is done after 6, and lefty Matt Grace is in.
Grace, you see his numbers. Slider, sinking fastball, gets a lot of ground balls.
Gavin Cicchini leads off against him. Struck out and grounded into a double play against Cole. Cole went 6, allowed a run on 4 hits, walked 4, struck out 8, which matched his career high through 108 pitches. And now Grace, one of 4 lefties in that Nats bullpen. The restructured Nats bullpen that now has Brandon Kinsler and Sean Doolittle at the end. They also had Ryan Madsen, but he has a finger injury. But it is certainly an upgraded part of the Nats team, and one that they resisted upgrading last offseason and well into this year, but finally seem to have gotten it right. Line toward the middle. To his left is Defoe. Nice range, and throws out Cicchini and away.
There's a ground ball from Matt Grace. He's used to coming in the game after a Cole. He's from UCLA. His teammate there was Garrett Cole.
You see how the Nats bullpen has improved.
Yes.
Since they've made the upgrades. The one caveat is that finger injury to Madsen seems to be defying any kind of ability to heal it right now, and he became a key piece very quickly for them as Grom fouls one off his foot.
That's the second time DeGrom's done that tonight.
Well, he did it the first time, and then he ran out an infield hit. He seemed just fine going down the line. Grom's base hit was his 14th of the year.
It was a hustle hit, a leg hit.
Brandon Nimmo waiting on deck. And DeGrom strikes out on the slider. So Grace has his first strikeout, and there are 2 out in the top of the 7th. You know, on this players weekend with all the nicknames on the jerseys, not every player was able to put the nickname they wanted on their jersey.
Why is that?
Well, Brandon Nimmo uses as his Twitter account, "You Found Nimmo," and he wanted to use some derivation of that.
Oh, that's from the cartoon, though.
It was a copyright issue.
Right. And they're going to sell these things. So.
Right. So they couldn't put anything that had any hint of somebody else's copyright.
Right.
So he had to settle for Nims.
Oh boy. Okay. I won't. I was going to say something, but I better not.
Oh boy. Maturity.
Really, it's quite a step forward. Growing as the game progresses.
Yes. There's hope for me.
Nimmo scored the only run of this game after walking to lead off the ball game. He's also walked a second time. And he goes after the sinker from Grace, and it's 1-2.
He's got a good sinker for against the left-hander. That's a good pitch.
Grace, who has Gracie on the back of his jersey. When he's done with the inning, does he say goodnight? Gracie? Plays the comebacker. Says goodnight. 1-2-3 inning. Say goodnight, Gracie. 7th inning stretch, 1-0 down. The 7th, Wilmer Defoe leads off against Jacob deGrom, who misses out with the curveball. Defoe had an infield hit, stole a base, got to third in the 2nd inning. Only time tonight the Nats have gotten a runner to third. Cabrera in close on the grass, and Defoe takes a strike with a changeup, and it's 1-1.
Curveball changeup to start Defoe here in the top of the 7th. Bottom of the 7th, sorry.
Michael Taylor on deck, then Alejandro Diaz in the 7th. Goes back to the changeup and gets ahead 1-2. Defoe hit a soft ground ball for his infield hit, then hit the ball hard, a liner to left to end the 4th inning. 1-2 from Jake, and that's lifted foul. 97 miles an hour. So the 99s have turned into 97s as we get to the late innings.
Still plenty, especially after a curveball and 2 changeups.
Just 81 pitches for deGrom tonight. 1-2 coming, and it's up and in. Mets are carrying 9 relievers for the game tonight. 9. I believe that's a season high. deGrom, the way he's going, might not need nearly that many. 2-2, and that changeup misses away, and now it's 3-2. Of course, one of those relievers is Jerry's Familia, who was just activated today after 3 months on the sidelines following blood clot surgery. And Defoe foul tips it for strike 3. deGrom gets him with a slider for his 8th strikeout of the night.
Well, just that little slider that he'll throw a little harder, so it almost looks like a cutter. It just gets under the bat of Defoe. You know, Gary, you just mentioned Familia. I can only think of his year by thinking of here when he was taken out of one of his 11 games that he appeared for the Mets, and Josh Edgin took his place against Harper. Remember that?
Yes. And he got double played.
The 1-2-3 double play.
Amazing when you think about it. Michael Taylor's been up twice, struck out both times, looking in the 2nd, swinging in the 5th. And he takes a rip there to slider, and it's 0-2. Well, it's been pretty much a lost year for Jerry's between the suspension and then the blood clot. He's barely pitched. And Taylor completely overmatched in that at bat. Strikes out for the 3rd time. That's 9 now for deGrom.
This with deGrom 1 strikeout away from his 9th double-digit strikeout performance. He hasn't had one in 4 starts. That's just overpowering right there, isn't it?
That's that fastball. He cuts just ever so slightly and ran away from Taylor.
So 2 out now. Diaz, who's grounded out and flied out, 0 for 2. Just 1-4 with a 4.3 ERA over his last 5 starts, but he has been vintage deGrom tonight. Many more off-speed pitches in this inning. Changeups, sliders, curveballs.
There's a real clue on how to get people out. He has from day 1.
And Diaz takes a backdoor slider for a strike, and it's 1-2.
You add that with a competitive spirit and a big heart. That's what you need. You need more than that.
2-2 to Diaz. 2-2 coming. Struck him out. Number 10 for deGrom as he strikes out the side in the 7th inning. 9th time this year DeGrom has reached double digits. As he takes care of De Aza. 1-0 Mets after 7. NY Mets game wherever you are and any device all season long with live streaming presented by Verizon. Just download the NBC Sports app or visit SNY.TV, your home for live streaming coverage of every SNY Mets game. 8th inning, 1-0 New York. Matt Gray starts his 2nd inning of relief. No longer says goodnight.
That's right. We can say goodnight to him again.
It was merely good evening. Lagares slugs one toward right center field, and that is down for a base hit, and it goes all the way back to the wall. Lagares pulls in at second base with the first extra base hit for either side tonight. A leadoff double in the 8th inning.
Good for you, Juan. Little up that didn't sink. The ball's up in the outside corner, goes right with it. Mets have a chance here to get a insurance run from Jacob.
And we'll see whether they bunt with Reynolds, who's 0 for 2 tonight.
I would.
Tried to sacrifice last night as a pinch hitter, or yesterday, and bunted into a force play.
And the the Washington Nationals think so too. Both corners in.
Cabrera's on deck.
You want to get the 14th win for DeGrom here. Nope.
He's got to swing on the first pitch. You know, Gray's pitched a 1-2-3 7th. It's funny how often these relievers go out there for a 2nd inning and they just don't have the same success that 2nd inning.
Just not used to sitting down and having to come back out for another inning. We'll see how Grace fares here.
That was the trainer with DeGrom there. There you
Up
go.
the middle, and Murphy can't get it. Base hit. Here comes Lagares to the plate. The throw by Taylor, not in time. Matt Reynolds drives in the run, and the Mets lead 2-0 in the 8th.
Well, Terry Collins showing confidence in Matt Reynolds, and he delivers for his skipper. I would have had him bunt, but I can't second guess this. Hey, you got the lead. Good job, Matt Reynolds. Good to see.
So Reynolds, who didn't start, who came in when Cespedes got hurt in the 1st inning, drives in his 5th run of the year. So a little bit of a cushion now for DeGrom before he takes the mound for the bottom of the 8th. And the Mets will look for more with Cabrera, who drove in the 1st run of the night with a 1st inning single, struck out twice after that against A.J. Cole. Now turning around about right-handed, and he has been one of the best hitters in the league against left-handed pitching this year, hitting .340 from this side of the plate.
I was going to say you could hit and run here, but you don't want to with Cabrera. I thought about hit and run because Dominic Smith's up next, but Cabrera's been so hot hitting from the right side.
Terry Blevins busy in the Mets bullpen. That's interesting with DeGrom only at 92 pitches. We saw the trainer with DeGrom in the dugout, so you wonder whether something is ailing him. Remember, he's fouled a couple of balls off his foot today. (2-0) and Cabrera takes a strike. He didn't think so. Nick Lentz, the young home plate umpire, said it was. What do you think?
I don't think it was a strike. I thought for Jake, you know, earlier in the game, I saw him take a swing and I thought he winced a little. He didn't. He finished the at bat. He was fine, 100%.
In the air, deep center field. Back goes Taylor, going back. It's over his head and off the wall. Racing for third, Reynolds. He'll be held there. Cabrera into second base with a long double. 3 straight hits to start the 8th inning. Second and third, and nobody out.
This ball is scalded. And talk about knowing your home field. Look at the Taylor play this ball perfectly off the wall. Look at him, just perfectly. And that prevents a run from scoring.
Reynolds read it well, but still wasn't able to score because of how well Taylor played that. Well, Mike Maddox, the pitching coach, is out of the mound. They want Grace to face one more batter because you got the left-hand hitter Smith coming up. But it's been a very rough inning for Grace, and they do have 3 other lefties in that bullpen. But it's Grace who's going to stay in to face Smith as Joe Blanton, a right-hander, gets up in the Nationals bullpen.
And again, I think a lot of it has to do with the time they got in last night. They were just hoping that Grace somehow could get 6 outs for him.
Well, he got 3 in short order in the 7th, but he's given up 3 straight hits to start the 8th. The run is in. Second and third, nobody out. Now the infield has to come in against Smith, who had a base hit up the middle back in the first inning. He's 1 for 3. Reynolds at third, Cabrera at second with nobody out. And Dom takes a strike. Smith still looking for his first hit against the left-hander. He's got 0 for 11 against left-handed pitching in his brief major league career. This will undoubtedly be Grace's last batter, with d'Arnaud and Rosario to follow. And Smith slugs one out to left. That'll get the run in. DeAza makes the catch. Reynolds comes in to score. Dominic Smith with a line drive sacrifice flying. It's 3-0 New York.
Nice hitting, Dominic. Very nice hitting. Going with the pitch. It's a big run out there. Not trying to hit the 3-run home run. Should be a second RBI of the game. Unfortunate earlier in the first inning. His base hit the umpire. Cost him an RBI. That's nice hitting. Well done.
Dusty Baker's going to make a double switch. Joe Blanton will come into the game. With Travis d'Arnaud coming up, Mets have scored twice in the 8th inning. Call to the bullpen is brought to you by Verizon. Nationals making a double switch in the 8th. We'll be right back. Hendrick will play left field and bat ninth, and veteran Joe Blanton is on to pitch.
We'll see the numbers. First batter faced 368. That's down from where he started the beginning of the year. He had an incredible year with the Dodgers last year. Signed late with the Nationals. Got off to a tough start, but has pitched better lately.
6.62 ERA. Comes in to face d'Arnaud with a runner at second and misses outside with a slider. d'Arnaud 1 for 3 tonight. Beat out an infield hit his last time up. Mets have scored twice in the 8th. Cabrera at second with 1 out. And d'Arnaud gets jammed and fouls it back 1-1. Joe Blanton, who began his career as a starting pitcher in Oakland and Philadelphia, has bounced around a lot the last few years, but recreated himself as a reliever and has had some really good seasons. This has not been one of them.
He's become really a slider ball pitcher when he comes in relief. That has become his strength.
Now 36 years old, and he throws a fastball by d'Arnaud, and it's 1-2. Well, Jerry Blevins was up in the Mets bullpen, but he is no longer up, which leads one to believe that perhaps DeGrom is going to continue on in the bottom of the 8th. There have been some concern about that after the trainer was taking a look and Blevins was throwing. d'Arnaud gets out of the way, and it's 2-2. Ahmed Rosario waiting on deck. Two coming, and he fouls it off.
So is that d'Arnaud's nickname, Lil D, because of the last name?
Yes, but it's got a little D. Of course, DeGrom could have been Lil D as well.
Yes.
But he's just Jake. d'Arnaud lifts one out to right center. Stevenson and Taylor. Stevenson takes charge. Tagging at second, Cabrera. He'll go over to third. Now there are 2 out. Well, Players Weekend. We invited your opinions about the uniforms. Keith wanted to hear more. Hear more.
Let's hear it.
Socks look like Fruity Pebbles. That's a good call.
Oh, Bubba, nicely done.
Eclipse glasses. That's a good tool. Very nice. Ugly but warm sweaters. Yeah, I think the socks are getting the most attention.
Yeah, well,
Ronnie, you haven't weighed in on the color schemes. Well, tell me.
I am colorblind, so this is like the greatest weekend in the world to be colorblind. I can't see a thing. It's fine with me. Everything's great.
That might be the definitive statement of the entire weekend. Rosario's 0 for 2 in a walk tonight, looking to pick up Cabrera from third with 2 out. And he pops one up into shallow right. Stevenson calls, catches, side retired. Blanton gets 2 outs, but the Mets got 2 runs, and DeGrom's hit him back out to the mound for the bottom of the 8th with a 3-0 lead. Ball straight from the courts as SNY and Overtime team up to bring you the hottest New York City hoops action. Check out the week's best highlights from some of the best high school ballers in town on Geico Sports Night. Ground ball down to first base, grabbed by Smith. Lobaton retired on one pitch in the bottom of the 8th, and that's 8 in a row retired by Jacob deGrom since he walked the pitcher A.J. Cole in a momentary lapse in the 5th. Jake's only thrown 93 pitches through 7 1/3. Now Howie Kendrick, who came out on the double switch, will come up for the first time. Kendrick, acquired from the Phillies, has just been ripping the cover off the ball since joining the Nationals. He's hitting .335 in a Nats uniform, or .324 in a Nats uniform, .335 overall.
They were not happy with him in Philadelphia, and I'm sure he wasn't happy there. But he has been traded to a winner, and he's a veteran, and he's performing.
Well, he was hitting in Philadelphia. He just wasn't very happy in Philadelphia.
You know, Gary, Keith, you make a good point, and that is that a veteran player like this, he can really help a winning ball club. Mired with the last place team, not their favorite.
Well, also he was being asked to play the outfield, which is not his preference. They didn't let him play second base when their second baseman was hurt.
Yeah,
so stuff like that.
I think a lot has to be said about Dusty Baker, how he's everywhere he's managed, he's won. He gets the most out of his players. He's a very much a player manager. Very dear friend too, Dusty.
How does it manifest itself, Keith? You're an everyday player. How does it manifest itself that you say a guy's a player's manager? Leaves you alone, or
it's pretty much like Davey.
Yeah.
You know, Davey mingled with us, you know, to a degree, and not, you don't want to overdo it. But you know, I've seen Dusty. I've been around. I played against him, and I talked with him when he was with the Dodgers and Atlanta when he was playing, and he's just one of those people. He just loves people, and he's sincere, and it comes across. It makes you want to play hard for the guy.
Kendrick lays off 1 and 2.
Also, I guess it helps when he was a very formidable player himself. So if he's telling you something, it comes from a place of hard knocks. He lived it.
I mean, I just got through, and we're almost out of this inning here. No, that I know I'm doing my autobiography, and I just got through the '78 season, which was with Vern Rapp when Red Shandy's got fired and all the controversy we had, and he was like a Marine Corps sergeant. And then in the '77 now he gets fired in April, and I had to make kind of a synopsis at the end of his tenure. And
hit sharply.
Nice.
Cabrera with a nice stop. The spin and throw, and he got him.
Nice play.
Dribble Cabrera with a fine play for the second out.
He has had no problem at third base. He's got the good hands, a good glove. You know, but when Vern got fired, I wasn't, you know, crying in my soup over. You know, but I mean, I felt for him, but you know, it was a very difficult playing for him. It was just hard to like him.
Here's Andrew Stevenson, 2 out and nobody on, and a call strike, 0-1. Stevenson 0 for 3 tonight, lined out his last time up. deGrom trying to get through 80s at 102 pitches, working on a 3-hit shutout, and that's pulled over the back, just foul.
That kid has had some good swings against deGrom.
Some of the best of the night. Stevenson has only had 42 big league at bats and is hitting just 167. He hit just 246 in AAA before he was called up. This was not a year when he was expected to make a contribution, but they needed outfielders. deGrom has struck out 10 tonight. And Stevenson drives one to left center. That's up the gap, and it's going to go back to the wall. Stevenson digs for second, and he'll pull in there with a 2-out double. Only his second career extra base hit, and the first extra base hit of the night against deGrom.
Good hitting right here. Fastball belt high, outside corner. Went right with it.
So now, huge batter for deGrom. You got Adrian Sanchez at the plate with Daniel Murphy on deck. If Sanchez gets on, Murphy would be the tying run. Jerry Blevins is up again in the Mets bullpen, so this could be DeGrom's last batter either way. Sanchez 0 for 3, struck out, grounded out, flied out. And he takes a strike on the outside. Paul Sewald gets up alongside Blevins.
And there's that patent knee-high outside corner fastball that DeGrom paints all the time against the right-hand hitter.
He runs one on the inside corner and he gets ahead 0-2.
That's pretty wicked.
Glenn Davis, Mr. Inside, Mr. Outside.
6 times this year DeGrom's gotten through 8 innings. Trying to do it again tonight. Line the other way. That's a base hit. Stevenson around third heading home. The throw by Nimmo is not in time. And the Nats are on the board. It's now 3-1 and Murphy will come up as the tying run.
Oh, 0-2 pitch.
0-2 pitch. He wanted to go back inside and he missed. He missed out over the outer half, and give the hitter credit here. He see Darno set up in and he missed on the outer half.
That's that little cutter he tries to throw inside the right-handers, but he missed.
Here comes Terry Collins, and that's going to be the end of the line for DeGrom. And Blevins is going to come in to try to finish the 8th. Now Jake had a shot at it. He retired the first 2 here in the 8th, but a couple of 0-2 pitches. Stevenson lines an 0-2 pitch to the gap in left center, and then Sanchez goes the other way on an 0-2 pitch to drive in the first Washington run. So it'll be Blevins against Murphy. DeGrom out after 7 2/3. Chances to get through the 8th inning against rookie hitters. 0-2 on both. Couldn't put away either one. So you can understand the frustration. And now he can only watch as Jerry Blevins comes in to face Daniel Murphy with the tying run at the plate.
Well, he's got to have this out here. Murphy's been so tough on Mets pitching, but not on Jerry Blevins.
2 for 15 in his career against Jerry, and he's 0 for 3 tonight. Grounded out, struck out, and flied out against DeGrom. Sanchez at first and 2 out. And Murph takes fastball for a strike.
Yes, Murph, that was a strike.
What's going to happen when we have robot umpires? Who will Murph talk to?
To himself. He's going to talk to someone.
And Blevins goes to the curve. 1-1. Now the left-hand hitter Adam Lind on deck. Remember that the Nats have Anthony Rendon. They've got Ryan Zimmerman. They've got Matt Wieters all sitting in the dugout. That's how Paul Sewald getting ready in the bullpen in case a right-hand hitter comes up. 1-1 to Murphy. And the curveball swung and missed. That was nasty.
Well, that one bent around. That wasn't even a strike.
That was like the Ephus pitch.
I'm surprised that Murph swung. This ball's way inside, backed up.
Came from behind him. Blevins ahead 1-2. Struck him out. Blevins uses the curve inside, uses the curve outside, and he takes care of Murphy to end the inning. Blevins gets his man, sends this game to the ninth with the Mets up 3-1. Ninth inning, Gavin Cecchini leads off against Joe Blanton, who came on to get the final 2 outs in the 8th. Wilmer Flores out on deck to pinch hit, and then Brandon Nimmo. And that's pulled down the left field line, but foul. Around the majors presented by Cadillac. Giancarlo Stanton up to 49 home runs. And the Marlins trying to get above 500. They haven't been above 500 since April. They're up 8-6 in the 8th. Rhys Hoskins, his 9th home run in 54 at bats. Nobody's done that in big league history before the Philly first baseman, left fielder. Cecchini flies one toward the left field line. Long run for Kendrick into foul ground, and he makes the catch.
Almost
nicely done by Kendrick.
Almost overran it. That's a little tricky wind out there today.
And it's a difficult corner to negotiate as well. So Kendrick makes the play to retire Cecchini for the first out in the top of the 9th. And now it's Wilmer Flores to pinch hit.
That just leaves Plawecki on the bench.
Wilmer's 0 for his last 15. Given a day off today.
Yeah. Felt he needed a rest.
It's A.J. Ramos getting up in the Mets bullpen, ready for the save chance. Flores lifts one to right, and Stevenson right there waiting. 2 out. Let's check in with the studio, see what's coming up on WB Mason postgame live. Gary Apple, Todd Zeile, guys. All right, Gary. So on Jerry's Familia's first day back on the active roster, it is not Familia. It is Ramos who will get the save chance. Brandon Nimmo bangs one up the middle, and he's got a base hit. And Nimmo's on base for the 3rd time tonight. So in his last start, he got on base 4 times. Tonight, 2 walks and a single. And he's aboard with 2 out in the ninth.
He gives you a good at bat every time at the plate. Didn't want to repeat myself.
You could see Blanton's saying to himself, you know what, you guys play the shift all the time, and then now you don't play the shift, and it cost me an out. I mean, is that exactly what he was thinking?
Exactly what he was thinking. And Nimmo's on base percentage now hovering right around 400, so he has done exactly what the Mets have asked of him. And now Lagares, who doubled to start the Mets' 2-run 8th inning, drove one to right center field and scored a run.
That stealing a base, getting that run back that Jacob gave up in the bottom of the 8th.
Something we really haven't seen much of from Nimmo.
The Mets have a young squad now, a little more speed. Use it.
And Glenn certainly thinks he will. Nimmo has not stolen a base in the major leagues last year or this. In fact, he hasn't attempted one. Tonight's starters brought to you by People's United Bank. Jacob deGrom was fabulous, struck out 10 for the 9th time this year. Gave up a run in the 8th to break up the shutout. Got to 200 strikeouts for the season for the 2nd time. There goes Nimmo, and it's dropped, and Nimmo has his first career stolen base. Nicely done.
Amazing the things that can happen when you put a little pressure on the defense.
Who says stolen bases don't mean anything?
Lobaton unable to make the transfer. So a runner in scoring position for Lagares. And he flies one foul. 1-2. In the bottom of the 9th, the Nationals will be due to send up Lynn, Defoe, and Taylor, with the pitcher spot due up 4th. With Rendon and Zimmerman and Wieters all sitting in the dugout available to pinch hit against A.J. Ramos or Alejandro Ramos Jr. Which is why it says Jr. on his jersey. 1-2. Check swing foul.
Thought he was a Cheesecake fan, maybe.
Only if he's from Brooklyn. He's from Lubbock. I don't think they have juniors in Lubbock. Just saying. Again, the 1-2. And Lagares takes it down. A slider. 2-2. Sometimes you just have to lean on your hitting coach. Blanton and Lobaton taking an eternity. Two to Lagares, and he lines one into center field for a base hit. That'll bring in Nimmo with an insurance run. Second hit of the night for Lagares. This one brings in a run. 4-1 New York.
Well done.
And the stolen base pays off as Nimmo rides it home.
Fastball. 2-2 count. Stays right with it. Big wide turn. An easy score for Nimmo.
So now Matt Reynolds, who drove in the second Met run with a base hit in the 8th inning. Let's see what maybe Lagares tries to swipe one. And the slider off the plate to Reynolds. Reynolds came in the first inning tonight when Yoenis Cespedes strained his right hamstring and hobbled off. And what do we have here?
Thumb guard.
Oh. Going to get the oven mitt for Lagares, who needs to protect that left thumb that he fractured earlier this year.
Can't run till you have that on.
Now he's ready to steal a base. Lagares has 2 this year. And now Blanton behind on Reynolds 2-0. I want to know who invented the oven mitt as a base stealing, hand protecting device.
Martha Stewart.
I didn't know she was such a big baseball fan.
Really? I thought you wanted to guess. I was just guessing.
There goes Lagares, throwing from his knees. Lobaton, and Lagares steals the base. So the Mets with 2 stolen bases here in the 9th inning. Lagares has his 3rd of the year.
So with the speedy youngsters, Mets don't have to rely on the home run. They can manufacture some runs.
Mets came into the night dead last in the National League with 32 stolen bases in their first 126 games. Well, they've got 2 stolen bases in this inning. Their leading base stealer should be back from the disabled list tomorrow. That's Jose Reyes. Reynolds takes a strike, 3-1. So Blanton had retired 4 in a row, gave up the hit to Nimmo, who stole second, scored on Lagares' hit, and now Lagares has stolen second. 3-1 coming to Reynolds. Lagares takes off for 3rd, and he'll steal it without a throw on ball 4 to Reynolds. So Lagares steals another one. His 4th of the year.
Well, with 2 outs, I've never liked this, but they're going to give it to you. Go ahead.
Putting a little more pressure on. Mike Maddox out to talk to Blanton as Dribble Cabrera coming up. They certainly want to keep a right-hander in the game after watching Cabrera bang one off the wall as a right-hand batter. They'd prefer to see him batting lefty. Game 2 of this series tomorrow, late afternoon start. Our coverage begins at 3:30 tomorrow afternoon. Robert Gazelman coming off a good start his last time out up against Gio Gonzalez, who is having a fabulous year. Look at those numbers. He's got to be in the consideration for the Cy Young.
You know, we always leave him out. Yes, he's in the top 5, I think.
City probables for tomorrow. 4 o'clock start. 3:30 coverage. Ronnie will be on the road somewhere.
Yeah, again.
Cabrera is 2 for 4 tonight. A single to drive and a run in the first, a double in the 8th. And he takes a strike. Lagares at 3rd, Reynolds at 1st with 2 out. And that one's knocked down by Lobaton to keep Lagares put at 3rd.
I just love when the base stealers steal bases late, because relievers come in, they don't know how to hold runners close. They're just interested in getting the hitters out. They're not thinking about the entire game.
Maybe they should.
Yeah, well, maybe.
Cabrera pops it up. Sanchez under it. Side retired. Mets add a run. Lagares' RBI hit. 4-1 going to the bottom of the 9th. save as a Met.
His last appearance was spot on for Ramos. Good ERA. 23 out of 25 is about as good as it gets.
Adam Lind will lead off in the last of the ninth for Washington. So Dusty Baker went with his B lineup today, and Jacob deGrom held that B lineup in check to the tune of 1 run and 5 hits over 7 2/3. He struck out 10. Jerry Blevins struck out Murphy to win the 8th. And now it's Ramos. And Lind hits the first pitch deep to center. Back goes Lagares, way back near the wall. It's out of here. Adam Lind greets A.J. Ramos with a long home run. His 10th home run of the year, and it cuts the Mets lead to 4-2.
How about first pitch curveball, Keith? He's all over it.
Well, we've seen Ramos throw that first pitch breaking ball a lot.
Lind, who's Donnie tonight.
Oh, a little lazy curve. And he connected. You're right, Ronnie.
Lind's first ever hit against Ramos in 4 at-bats. So now a 2-run lead. Wilmer Defoe the batter, 1 for 3 tonight. And he bluffs a bunt and takes a strike. Drew Cabrera in from third base.
Home plate umpire Nick Lentz, I think, has called a really good game behind the plate. Been consistent.
Goes to the backstop. 1-1 for Ramos, the 6th home run he's allowed this year, 2nd since joining the Mets. It's been perfect in save chances though since coming to the Mets, and 23 of 25 for the season.
You know, his strength is, and you knew it when he pitched for Miami, but you know it more now you watch him up close for the Mets, is he'll throw any pitch at any time. Surprise you with that fastball late in the count.
And Defoe gets the fastball and held the swing. 2-1. Well, Defoe knows his role here. He needs to get on base to get the tying run to bat. Michael Taylor on deck, the pitcher spot behind him. And that's high, and now Ramos behind Defoe, 3-1. Last time out, Ramos retired the first 2 with a 2-run lead. Then he walked A.J. Pollock and had to get Jake Lamb out. And Lamb got under one to right field, and A.J. survived. 3-1 to Defoe, and that's on the inside corner, 3-2.
Wanted it away and got it a little cut, like ball ran inside a little bit.
Maybe a fortunate call.
No walks.
Well, walks have always been an issue for A.J. 3-2 coming. Pulled down the right field line toward the corner. That's a fair ball. Bouncing up against the wall. Defoe to second. He'll take the turn and hold on there. A home run and a double to start the last of the ninth. And now the tying run will come to bat for Washington.
Up and right down the pipe.
Defoe had thoughts about third, but no reason to take a chance. The only guy that matters is the guy at the plate. The tying run with Taylor coming up. Taylor batted 3 times against deGrom, struck out all 3. Jerry's Familia in the bullpen, but not getting up. And Taylor trying to lay down a bunt. That's a very odd play for a guy who's got 12 home runs this year, with his team down by 2 runs.
Particularly with this lineup.
I'm sure it had to perplex his manager.
He's 0 for 4 in his career against Ramos. Anthony Rendon is out on deck to pinch hit with the pitcher due up next. Defoe at second and nobody out, with a run already home here in the last of the ninth. And Taylor pops it up. Shallow center. Lagares in. Plenty of time to get there. And that's the first out in the bottom of the ninth.
Got away with a big hanger right there.
Well, it is not Familia, but Seawald who's getting up in the bullpen. Interesting. And Terry said he wanted to ease Familia back in there.
You want them to start an inning also.
So Jay Reese.
Yeah, Jay Reese has had problems coming in the middle of innings.
Yeah. So here's Rendon. Getting the day off today with the Nats' late arrival last night. Last time, well, earlier this year when the Mets saw Rendon here in D.C., he had the game of his life. 6 hits, 3 home runs, 10 RBIs. And Matt Wieters out on deck to bat for Lobaton. So Dusty Baker going to his muscle off the bench here in the ninth. Rendon 3 for 10 in his career against Ramos. And the slider missed inside, almost hit him.
Rendon doesn't give. In fact, when the ball's inside, he'll sometimes lean into it.
Didn't miss that uniform shirt by much. Nothing coming easily for Ramos here in the ninth. Lynn led off with a home run. Defoe doubled. One out and 1-0 to Rendon. And a fastball in tight, 2-0. And he throws a 2-0 slider for a strike. That's what Ronnie's talking about. Any pitch, anytime.
The issue though tonight though is the ball just spinning in there. He doesn't have that good late break.
It's pretty much league wide now. It's become a breaking ball league. Behind the count, secondary pitches.
Defoe at second and 1 out. 2-1 to Rendon. And a fastball fouled off. 2-2. Rendon has only had 1 at bat as a pinch hitter this year. He's played more games than any national this season. Two coming. And the slider in the dirt. Knocked down by Darno. Now it's 3-2. Wieters waiting to pinch hit. Three and 2 to Rendon. And he drives one deep down the line, hooking. Foul.
Wow. It was a hanger.
That did not miss by much.
Well, this one didn't break. Oh, man, he's lucky he got out in front.
Already 1 home run in the inning off Ramos. It was nearly a second.
DeGrom about had a heart attack down there.
About 10 feet wide. And Darno needs a conversation.
Well, Ramos knows what he wants to throw.
Rendon is just too evolved as a hitter. You don't think he's going to chase anything out of the zone, so you're going to have to throw something that's near the strike zone, but with something on it.
7th pitch of the at bat coming to Rendon. And it's ball 4. And now the tying runs are on base. And Matt Wieters will come up to pinch hit.
Well, Danny Warthen's going to come out, but you know that choice of pitches there to try to get Rendon to chase. He's not going to chase. He's too good of a hitter.
And he took the other bad one on, made it 2-2 in the dirt. He took it. It wasn't full the least bit.
Well, this is only Ramos's 10th game as a Met, and the first time he has struggled like this in a save situation. Home run, double, fly out, walk to the first 4 batters. He came in with a 3-run lead. It's now 4-2. The tying runs are on base, and Matt Wieters coming up to pinch hit. Wieters 9 home runs this year, hitting .233. He's 1 for 7 as a pinch hitter, 1 for 1 in his career against A.J. Ramos. Defoe at second. Rendon at first with 1 out, and what Ramos needs more than anything is a ground ball at an infielder.
3 home runs against left-handed pitching, 6 of those 9 home runs against right-handed pitching.
So here we go, 2 on and 1 out. And that one sells outside, and he has no command of his slider tonight.
No, this has been his issue over the years, is not an inability to throw strikes.
Howie Kendrick is batting 9th in the order. He's on deck. And he gets that one over. 1-1. When you throw as many breaking balls as Ramos does, can you find that pitch in the midst of an inning?
It's hard to find it in the midst of the inning when everything is on the line. You know, you either have it or don't have it, but that's the pitch he needs to get hitters out.
Goes to the changeup and gets a swinging strike on Wieters.
Got a little help there.
Remember, the one good thing about having Wieters up here is if all those pitches go down, if he hits the ball on the ground, he cannot run.
Defoe at second, Rendon at first with 1 out. Ramos ahead in the count, 1-2. And the fastball just missed. So he set him up with 2 sliders and a changeup. Tried to surprise him with the fastball and almost got him.
Just missed. A little low.
I wouldn't mind seeing him double up with that pitch. Wieters is sitting on something soft.
2-2. And he does come that time with the changeup, and it's fouled off. He left it up. Howie Kendrick hitting 9th in the order on deck. 21 pitches already for Ramos. He's only retired 1 batter. Outside, full count. Rosario at second base, playing behind Defoe, trying to keep him close. 3-2 with 1 out. And Wieters takes ball 4. 3-2 slider from Ramos, and now the bases are loaded. The tying run moves to second. The potential winning run is on first base after back-to-back walks. There's nobody up in the Mets bullpen. Sewald was up briefly, but it looks like Terry is determined to stick with Ramos, with Howie Kendrick coming up. Kendrick's been up only once in this game after coming in a double switch. He had a sharp ground ball, and Cabrera made a nice play and threw him out in the 8th. So now Defoe at third, Rendon the tying run at second, Wieters the potential winning run is on first. And Kendrick drives one to right field. Coming on is Nimmo, makes the catch, and the runners have to hold.
Oh, we had him doubled up.
Oh, doubled up at second.
That's a tough call.
Well, his natural inclination coming in on the ball like that had to be to throw the ball home, even though Defoe had not tagged up.
Wow, this ball is a rip. And very nice play by Nimmo. He has to focus on the ball. So he had no idea that Rendon was way off the bag. So Rendon had no clue where the right fielder was.
Well, that's a huge out for Ramos as Nimmo charging in to make the play, and Rosario jumping up and down. He wanted Nimmo to throw the ball to second and maybe get the game-ending double play. So instead, it's Andrew Stevenson, the rookie, who gets another chance. Bases loaded, 2 down. 4-2 New York, 9th inning. And Stevenson takes the slider high for ball 1. And that slider is just not going where Ramos wants it to.
No, definitely not.
Stevenson had a double to help knock DeGrom out of the game in the 8th inning. He scored the first Washington run. And Stevenson fouls one at the plate, 1-1. I'm wondering if Dusty has somebody, a pitcher or. Well, he's got to keep Wieters in the game because he's batting for Lobaton.
Yeah,
right. Because he represents the winning run, and he's at first base, so it would be hard for him to score on anything in the gap.
If I was Ramos right here, I would can the slider, Ronnie, and just run the sinker and the changeup.
1-1 to Stevenson, and he throws the slider and gets the swinging strike. 1-2. And now the Nats are down to their final strike.
Slider, not a strike.
Well, I have not seen enough of Ramos, but I don't think this is the first Ramos roller coaster ride that you're going to see.
Got that right.
1-2 to Stevenson. Strike 3 called, and the ball game is over. He stayed with his slider. He got the swinging strike for strike 2, and he bit one over for strike 3 to strike out Stevenson and leave him loaded. And the Mets hang on to win it 4-2.
Well, Jacob deGrom can take a deep sigh of relief here because he had to sweat that one out. Terrific played right there by Nimmo, and the line drive off the bat of Kendrick. That ball down the line, that empties the bases with a Met loss. So just a terrific jump on that play. Ramos struggles, but hangs on.
How about the base hit by Nimmo in the 9th, the stolen base, and being driven in by Lagares to add that extra run?
Well, the Mets are 1-0 in their players' weekend uniforms as they beat the Nats for just the 4th time in 13 tries this year.